Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Reshmi Mukherjee and in my channel you get ICSE, ISE, English Literature and English Language topics. So today is a new day and we are in the last class we have already done I remember as you can see over here. So today this is the second class of this poem and we are going to do explanation. Check this part, we are going to do the explanation of it a bit because already we have finished doing that in the last class. We are also going to discuss the figures of speech in today's class. Those who haven't checked my website, do check it because it is very informative. You will get a lot of content completely free of cost. So slothskill.com, do check it. And so let us begin with our topic. See the first thing, the first figure of speech of today. It is metaphor. Metaphor we all know this is a kind of comparison जिसके साथ जहाँ पे हम लोग compare करते हैं, comparison करते हैं. And what kind of comparison? Where we do not use like or as. Meaning if I say that I am as beautiful as a monkey. So if I see as beautiful as, so I am comparing it with as. If I say I am like a monkey, so like. कंपेयर करने के लिए अगर like और as का यूज़ करें, if we are using like or as to compare, it becomes metaphor. Sorry, it becomes simile, simile, right? But if we do not use these two words like and as, if we do not use these words, then it will become metaphor. Here also we are comparing. So if I say lion-hearted or if I say yes lion-hearted girl, that means we are comparing the bravery of the girl to the bravery of the lion. Okay, but we are not using like or as over here, so that is a metaphor. Idea clear? Now over here what is the metaphor? Those flowers made of light. So we are not directly saying that these are as bright as light or as bright as the sun. We are not comparing like that, but still we can understand that it is emphasizing the beauty and the radiance, the vibrant colors, the beauty of the bright colors of the flower, right? So that is why made of light is actually a metaphor. Next we have I believe when we have done daffodils, we haven't done daffodils, right? This year we don't have it. In that poem also by William Wordsworth, if you have done ever, hyperbole is a figure of speech where we exaggerate. Matlab, if I say that I will love you for 1,000 years, is that even possible? Of course not. 1,000 years, I can live for maybe 70 years, 75 years, 80 years, but how is it possible that I will live for 100 years? That is not possible, right? Or 1,000 years. So that is a kind of, why I am saying this, it also of course has a meaning. It is not a useless sentence. It means that I love you a lot and I will eternally love you, right? So if I propose somebody saying I will love you for 1,000 years, it is like a hyperbole where you are exaggerating the idea that I love you a lot, right? Here what is that? The air must rush as fresh to swallows on the wing. Meaning over here, see, it is not possible that you can feel the freedom of a bird. The bird, you know, they can fly in the sky and they can feel the real feel of the air brushing against its body. We can't feel that. But when you ride the swing, okay, when you are riding the swing, that moment you kind of have a hang of it, like not a hang of it, just get 1% feel of it, how a bird feels, okay. Like in the Titanic movie we saw that when our characters, they were standing at the front of the ship, they could feel like birds, but they were not actually enjoying what the birds really enjoy. That much of freedom they were not enjoying. Their feet were not in the air, right? They were there on the ground only, but it was kind of 1% feel of a birds. So that is why this is an exaggeration, hyperbolic statement suggesting that the air felt exceptionally fresh to the speaker when they were swinging, emphasizing the intensity of their childhood sensations. Okay, so this is hyperbole. Next one, personification. See the word coming from person. That means जो human being नहीं है उसको अगर human attributes दिए गए, मतलब when for example the chair, I am sitting on this chair. Now if I say that I am very fat and the chair is crying because of my heavy weight, so the chair is crying, the chair is given human attributes, human qualities. So in this case the chair is personified. Over here the sun came peeping. Now the sun is an inanimate substance, right? It cannot peep, it cannot look like this. Human beings can peep like that. So we are using that peeping word which is a human quality for the sun. That is why this is personification, right? Next, irony. What is irony? See, irony first we have to understand. Imagine you wrote an examination and after writing the examination you felt that you will of course score 100 out of 100. but when the result was declared, you see that you nearly failed. Okay, you got around 41, 42 marks out of 80. Alright, so that means you thought something, but something else completely different, something that is completely different, that happens. So this is irony. Over here, what is the irony? But now I often wish the night had borne my breath away. See the first 6 lines or 5 lines that we see in the first stanza, that is completely happy. We could never imagine that the last 2 lines of the first stanza could be that opposite, right? When that person is imagining so beautiful things, that the light of the sun is peeping inside the room, such a peaceful ambience, suddenly he is saying that I no longer, I wish that I was dead that night, so that I did not have to feel so much of worry in the future. Okay, so this is completely opposite. We could never imagine it while reading the first 5 lines. So that is what the speaker's expression of desire for death in adulthood is ironic, given that most people associate such thoughts with childhood innocence and happiness. Generally, when we talk about our childhood, we are happy, we enjoy those moments when we remember them. But here what is happening? It is just the opposite. He is imagining the beautiful things of his childhood, but he also says that I wish I had died then only, so that I did not have to suffer today's troubles, right? Next is metaphor again. What is metaphor? I have already told you. So what is the, now try to imagine whether you still remember what is a metaphor. Okay, so my spirit flew in feathers. So my spirit flew, I will just change the color of my pen because it is not showing. Okay, my spirit flew in feathers then, that is so heavy now. See, flew in feathers is actually what? This is comparison to a bird, that I was flying like a bird, but like word हमको दिख रहा है? नहीं, we cannot see the word like or as. So comparison without using like or as, that is why this will also become a metaphor. Comparing the lightness of the speaker's spirit to the act of flying, that means act of flying is a relation to the bird, right? So talking about the carefree days of youth. Next, alliteration. Alliteration is something which I believe everybody knows. Alliteration is a repetition of consonants. If I say forest, ferny, floor, okay, or cat calling, okay, so or maybe if I say shy, silly, symptoms, SSS, CC, FFF, forest, ferny, floor, all these will become alliteration. So in this, what do we see? Window W, where W, right? So again we can also take this one, the, okay, and here also we have the TT, WW, whichever one you can take. Okay, repetition of the W sound, repetition of the T sound, it should happen at least twice in one single line. Okay, so it adds a musical quality to the poem or to the line, right? Next one, this is possibly the last one or the second, yes, one more. Imagery. What is imagery? Very easy. See, from the word itself, imagery. So image, it comes from the image. Now before you read this I will take some time to make you understand what is an imagery. It comes from the word image. So when you are reading it, see, I have pasted this picture, but even if the picture is not there, you can imagine ना, जब fir tree आप लोगों ने देखे होंगे, तो we imagine that okay, the fir tree, they are very tall, so when we look from down from the ground, we feel that this is so high that it will reach heaven. Possibly it is reaching heaven, it is touching the door of heaven. So this we can imagine like a picture. So this is a visual imagery. Now if I say that the birds were chirping on the treetops, so we cannot hear the sound of the birds, the crickets sound we cannot hear, but when we talk about the birds chirping, the frog or the crickets chirping, we can imagine the sound, right? So that is auditory imagery. When we say that the bird jumped from one branch to the other on a laburnum tree, so jumping from one branch to the other, this is a movement. So any kind of movement, muscular movement, joint movement, that is kinesthetic imagery. Okay, if we get some smell, if a line is written that some from the next house some beautiful smell of chicken curry came into my house, okay, that is olfactory imagery, that means smell. Okay, so these are the different types of imagery. You will read, understand and identify what kind of imagery it is. So throughout the poem, vivid descriptions and sensory details are given. See this picture, this one, that sun peeping in through the window. Okay, this is also a visual imagery, we can imagine it. How do you think I created this picture? By imagining what the poet is trying to say, right? So that is what mental images such as the sun peeping through the window, the beauty of the flowers, the sensation of swinging, then this little child looking up and thinking that the fir tree will reach heaven, will reach the sky, all that. Okay. Next one is paradox. What is a paradox? Paradox means when just exactly opposite ideas sit side by side. See, oxymoron is also opposite ideas, but oxymoron is exactly two opposite words sitting side by side. If I say silent fury, silent anger, anger can never be silent. When you are angry, you throw stuffs here and there, so that can never be silent. So that is oxymoron, when two opposite words sit side by side. Paradox, two opposite ideas sit side by side, they may not be one single word, right? Over here, summer pools could hardly cool the fever on my brow. See, summer pools, the pool, it already has this quality, it is typically associated with what? Cooling and refreshment. When you jump into the pool like this little baby, you are sure to be refreshed, okay, or cooled, have a cool body, but that is not happening over here. He says that even then my feverish mind, my tortured mind can never be cooled, because adult mind has a lot many worries and a summer pool cannot cool it. Okay, opposite ideas sitting side by side becomes a paradox. I have given the meaning of paradox also over here. A paradox is a statement or situation that seems contradictory or self-defeating, but upon closer examination, of course, it has a meaning. It's not that it is meaningless. It has a meaning. It may reveal a deeper truth or meaning. Okay, so when we identify literally its meaning, it seems useless, it seems meaningless. That how is it that you jump into the pool but still your body is not cooled? That is not possible. But the idea is talking about adulthood, the worries of adulthood. So that's why it is meaningful. It has a deeper meaning. Okay. Next one, possibly, yes, this is the last one. We are talking about refrain over here. See, every single time the stanza changes, stanza 1 has I remember, stanza 2 has I remember, stanza 3 has I remember, stanza 4 also starts with I remember. Even the title of the poem is the same. So why is it repeated? When we repeat something, it means that it is important. So here what is important? The theme is important. How? It is kind of nostalgic, the idea that the childhood days are gone and we no longer will find that peace and satisfaction and happiness and freedom any longer in our life. Adulthood is all about troubles. So this nostalgic idea is identified in this refrain. Okay, so repeated, I remember, I still remember those happy days, but I am sorry that I have to suffer these sad days of adulthood. Okay, so that is why it is repeated. So repeated line or group of lines in the poem or song, it serves as a rhythmic or thematic purpose. The theme is important over here, that is highlighted, and it serves a key message, emotion or idea. Refrains can create a sense of structure and unity within the piece of literature. It is generally used to highlight the significance or the theme of the poem or prose. So it serves as a refrain, I remember, so you can read the rest, and of course what I told you, it identifies, it underscores the central themes of memory and nostalgia, anchoring the reader's focus on the speaker's recollections, what he recollects about his past, the moments from his past that makes him feel happy, but then again he is sorry because all those days are gone. Okay, so that is all about figures of speech from this poem. I believe I could make myself clear and you no longer have much doubts. See, figures of speech, there are many figures of speech, consonants, assonants, there are many. So I have told you the most important ones. Next, whatever your school teaches you, pay attention to that. If something more is told to you, come back to me, write in the chat box, write in the comment section, I will explain those to you too. There are many, thousands of figures of speech, okay. So it depends on the main ones I have given to you. The rest, if anything is added, let me know, I will add that also over here, okay. That is all. Thank you so much. If you benefited from it, don't forget to share it with me, share how you felt about the video in the comment section, and also share it with your friends so that they can also benefit from the free class. Thank you so much. Bye bye. See you in my next class.